is or what are the best tools, or what is the best way of defending the proposal? It doesn't matter that you are from the PhD students or master students, it's still the same, because of you will have to learn about this one, before defending your proposal. You have to read it properly. Again, my name is Dr. Muhammad Khairuddin Beramli, and I'm from Azman Hashim International Business School. I believe that a lot of students are from the Azman Hashim as well. Congratulations for you guys for joining this session. And again, thank you very much for the organizer, for the president of the PGSS, Mr. Samsul, and all of the committee members who organized this this event very well. All right. So we have several agendas for today's session. Number one, of course, we want to know what is the preparation that you must have before the proposal defense. What is the thing that you should prepare, the tricks, the tips, and so on. And you also will have the important tips for the proposal defense presentation. The most important part of the proposal defense, what you should have in order for you to prepare. What is the purpose of a research proposal? I hope that somebody can help me to answer this question. Anybody, please, guys? What is the purpose of a research proposal? Anybody, please?
Yeah. Maybe I can try, Doctor.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'm Kanya here. Actually, the defense proposal is to justify my research to the panel, saying to really identify whether the subject that I'm researching, whether researchable or not, whether it has been researched by somebody or not. So it will be challenged by the intellectuals. So I have to justify and be prepared that research is really worthwhile pursuing. That's my take.
It's great to understand the timeline, timeline before, during the presentation, and after the presentation. So we have to understand what we have to do before the presentation. We must have this one as a plan. You have to plan the presentation as a team. Believe me, I've been through this. I tried to do alone the proposal presentation. Yes, you can do it alone, no problem. But with a team, you can develop something that is very, very in terms of the foundations, very good, very strong, compared to the individual task, right? The preparation of the presentation, in order for you to make sure that the presentation is efficient and effective enough, please use bullet point, okay? Less is more, more is less, all right? Less is more. So it is better for you to avoid wordy points, all right? In the slide presentation, try your best to avoid wordy points. You are not going to put a full sentences in your presentation slides. No one is going to read your presentation slides for you to refer with and for the audience to be pleased. All right, so you don't have to put everything in your slide presentation. I will show you an example after this on how to prepare the best for your proposal defense. And you must do your homework and master the part that you will be presenting. Believe me, you are going to be the expert in your area, so you are going to master everything in your area. And please, do the best in terms of doing this study. You have the first one, you must have the soft skills. On the day of the defense, this is a very important one. On the day of the defense, presentation outlines. So please be aware of this one as well. This is not for you to follow 100%. This is general guidance only, guys, because of different supervisors have different techniques. And the priority number one is your supervisor. Please consult your supervisor first. So for the introduction, again, you have to explain about this problem statement. What is the problem that you're facing in this current situation? Why your research is important? What happens if you don't have this research or action to be taken, and so on. So you have the research aim, you have the research question, objective, gap, significance of study, scope, and limitation. Right? Because of whenever you have the question, do you have the objective to answer the research question or not? So for example, this one, is there any relationship between knowledge acquisition and firm performance? So we have the research objective one to examine the relationship between knowledge acquisition and firm performance. So easily you can see we have the answer to this research question in terms of the research objective. So this one is basically the research gap identification. So as you can see here, the example of a research gaps. All right, you can, and this is for the statement the problems. All right. So what is the problem statement and what is the difference between the research gap? Of course, you want to be more focused in your research. All right. So this is basically provides an overview of the study by stating what the study is about, why is it important and timely, what contribution are made to the knowledge and practice, how the study fits in the existing knowledge, and tells the story behind the variables or the concept to be studied, and provides background for the purpose statement and research question. Underpinning theory. So in your research, of course, when you want to do anything about your research, you must be based on the theory, not coming from nowhere, not coming from yourself. It must be a reference for you guys. How you want to present this underpinning theory to your audience and so on, you have just to put the theory over there. The thing is, you have to focus on your variables in your study. You know, in your literature review. For those who already went through the class of the research methodology, you will have to develop your framework and so on. You will have to have the IV and DV components and so on. You will have the moderators, mediators, and so on. So again, the direction of explanation for the literature review must be based on this variables. You cannot go beyond that because of in your proposal defense, you must be you must take good enough in terms of what is the components in your study. You must explain within the scope of your variables, not going beyond that because of you want to have a focus on your study. All right. So for example, this one in the variables, I have this IV number one, knowledge acquisition or independent variable. Number one, knowledge acquisition. For those who are still in the first semester, you can refer to your supervisor after this or after you're going through the class of the research methodology. I believe that you will understand on all of this one. And I hope that you can discover by yourself as well. You know, take some time on your free times, do some studies on this one, the hypothesis development. How do you want to address the hypothesis development through the relationship between variables? This one is the table to show everything about this, how to explain about on how to develop your hypothesis development in the slides very easily. So for example, if you have this IV1, the relationship between IV1 and DV1, of course, you will have to explain how do you develop this one, how do you get this relationship. So you have to explain through, through here, knowledge acquisition impacts innovation and firm performance. You have to find the reference, you have to find the literature on this one and explain a bit on how you get the relationship between IV1 and DV1 as well. So it's very, very simple paragraph over there, and you put the references as well for the panels to know that, oh, there is a prior relationship on this one. So you do this on the basis of the study. There is some analysis has been done before. So you want to refine, you want to do by your own, you want to start by having some other relationship and so on in depth in your area, so it should be okay. All right. So you put your hypothesis one. There is a positive relationship between knowledge acquisition and firm performance. It's okay then. So for the panels, when they look into your relationship, or now you have the relationship, now you prove that you have the literature on this one, on the relationship. So it's not coming from out of nowhere. You are not just getting from the sky and so on. So you are basically getting this from the previous study and so on to support your hypothesis development. Then it's okay. So you do the same thing for the H1, H2, H3 up until the H4. So you have everything in your slide presentation already. You address everything without having to put so many things in your proposal defense. Okay. Now, after we explain, now the first step is basically we explain about the research objective, research question, and then we explain about the literature review. The literature review is basically we explain one by one dimension or variables. It's very simple one. After we explain the variables, after you understand, oh, this is the variables A, variable B, variable C, and so on, and then you move into the interconnection by using the hypothesis development. Through that, you connect from point A to point B and so on based on the previous research. You interlink, you linkages all those, relationship and so on, one by one. And now, as a conclusion, you will have to propose a conceptual framework that consists of all of the hypotheses combined into one research framework. So this is the proposed conceptual framework, as easy as this one. As you can see previously, I put the relationship knowledge acquisition positively related to the firm performance, H1. So we're already done for this one, H1. There is a positive relationship between knowledge acquisition and firm performance. So we have this one. So it is also correlated and corroborated with a research objective to examine the relationship between knowledge acquisition and firm performance. So we go back, okay, to examine. So we have to examine the knowledge acquisition and the firm performance. All right, it's very clear, very simple. And objective number 2, to examine or to study the relation between outsourcing and the firm performance as well. So the hypothesis number 2, there is a positive, significant relationship between outsourcing innovation and the firm performance. So this is all the things that we want to put in the summary for our proposed conceptual framework in a very easy, what we call layman's term, in terms of doing this, easily for the panels to digest, for the examiners to digest, and so on. So to state your strategy on this research methodology. So for example, I put here quantitative research strategy. So for those who are doing the qualitative, you can put whatever you have here, qualitative research strategy and so on. So since this one is just only one time to be done for the research design, so you can put a cross section. Question, guys? Any question? No question. Okay, all right. So for the unit of analysis, for example, if you put the individuals as your respondent and so on, you can state here individuals. But if the respondent is the owner of one company, organization, and so on, so you have to explain this one as well. But as you can see here, I put a very simple point over here just to show that the thing that you want to focus on your research methodology, and the rest is your explanation on this one. You don't have to put it. We move into the measures. Again, we have to complete the what we call the questionnaire design first at the very first place before we can proceed with the proposal defense. And now, how to show the questionnaire design is up either. There are so many ways on how to show the questionnaire design. But so we put a measurement like this. 5-point Likert scale will be used where 1 strongly disagree and 5 strongly agree. So this one is very common things. And this is the way of you presenting the questionnaire design. But if the examiners ask you to show the full scale of your what we call questionnaire design and so on, please be prepared, because of a lot of what we call examiners, they love to see your questionnaire design and so on. And I believe that through your appendices as well, when you finish up your proposal defense, what we call chapter 1 to 3, and you put in the appendices as well the analytical procedure, what kind of analysis that we want to run, that we will be running for the questionnaire, for the analysis, for the response that we obtain from the fieldwork and so on. So of course we want to involve with the normality of data, but again, this is the way of doing the presentation, not the content. Okay, the content you can enhance by yourself by referring to the research methodology class, your supervisors and so on. I just put here some of the points. The solution for the during presentation time, during presentation of the proposal defense. Of course, you will have to provide as well the planning time scale in terms of the Gantt chart. What is the planning for your research? For example, you plan to finish up GOT, graduate on time, so you just prepare the Gantt chart for the approach. For example, year number 1, you want to prepare for the literature review, semester number 2 for that one, semester number 3 for data collection and so on, and preparation of the write-ups for chapter 4, chapter 5 and so on. So you just put in the Gantt chart. This one, you don't have, actually we never provided any standards to the student. It's up to you. Some of the students never provided this one. which is quite bad actually. But if you have enough resources, enough time, and so on, please prepare this one as well, so that we know that you are in the stage of preparing yourself in a very good manner. All right. So second one, of course, you have to have the publication. If I'm not mistaken, currently, if you want to go for a proposal defense, you must have at least article accepted by any journals. All right. So you have to show that one as well in your presentation, the publication that you already submitted and the acceptance letter you obtained from this one. Even better if the paper is already accepted by the journals and so on. It will be a bonus point for you guys because of your paper already published in the good quality journals. So why bother to asking you more about this one, so you can easily pass the proposal defense, hopefully. All right. And then you must put the references as well, as I said previously, to show that to the audience that, oh, this is my references, I know what I'm doing, so the context of study is still in the same context of study and so on. So the references also, the recent one, 5 years recent and so on. And the last one, of course, you want to open for the Q&A session. So this is the, okay, all right, now we are moving into these common mistakes done by the students. And I hope that through this common mistake, as I explained to you, please don't repeat this again, because of the majority of the students, they are doing the same thing every time the proposal defense happens. Common mistake number one is basically typesetting, referencing, grammatical errors, and so on. And common mistake number two is basically outdated references. It's supposed to be 5 years recent, So this one you have to be careful because of UTM is very, strict on this one. So please make sure that you update your references. That's why the use of the EndNotes, Mendeley, and so on. The skill of getting the references from the Google Scholar and so on is very, very critical and vital in this one. Number three is basically the student fail to ask when the question is unclear. When the question asked by the examiners during this online pandemic or before the online and so on, sometimes the examiners, talk too fast or too slow, or you're too nervous to hear the talking and so on. Please, please ask again. No problem, but ask in a very, very good manner. Doctor, could you please refer the last question? I didn't get it. I'm so sorry. So I will answer you accordingly. But please rephrase the question. You can ask, such as the common mistake number 4, cutting the question or questioner off. So please never cut the question. Don't go around the bush. So this one is very, very bad manner to be practiced. If you don't know how to answer that question, please be honest. All right, honesty is the most important thing in the proposal defense presentation. All right. So common mistake number 5 is basically too defensive. All right. Of course, you want to defend your proposal, but defense does not mean to be defensive. You don't have to defend your thesis proposal to the death. Right. So this is the common mistake by the student. They say that, oh, this is my thesis, I have to defend this one till the end of my life. No, you don't have to. To defend your proposal means to justify the decision you have made in choosing the variables and methods of your study. Okay. Common mistake number 6, pretending to know the answer when you don't. So please be careful, students. Some of the students are, pretending to know the answer, but when the answer actually put themselves in a very jeopardized position, they're jeopardizing their position in the presentation, because of, the examiners from, the very expertise area in your presentation and so on. So you cannot trick them. So please be honest. Again, be honest is the key of the successful presentation. So mistake number 7 is very, very sad. A lot of students, some of the students, they are very, very arrogant in terms of doing the presentation. They say that they think that they knows everything because of they are in line of the, for example, education, they are in line of the, industry, so they knows better than the examiners and so on. But again, they attitude is number one in the knowledge, in the academics and so on. So you have to show that you are in the level of the PhD, you are in the level of the masters and so on. You have to be humble in everything. You have to respect everybody. Mistake number 8 is rambling on and beating around the bush, answer properly in sequence. Okay. So common mistake now, talking too fast or too slow. And how to adjust on this one, how to evaluate this one, because of you sometimes cannot see your presenting of your presentation because you are too nervous. So this one you have to do your own recordings, you know, double check on your performance with your friends, mock a presentation with your lecturers and so on, ask for the feedbacks and so on. This is very important, you know. So I think that's all from myself. I will share my phone number and my contacts with the organizer. Perhaps the organizer can give to whoever needs for the guidance, and for the next session perhaps we can arrange another session later.